Golf Channel's exclusive coverage of the LPGA Tour is presented by Volunteers of America, helping America's most vulnerable.
It is an absolutely picture-perfect day in Portland, Oregon. Columbia Edgewater Country Club, again the host of the Cambia Portland Classic, reduced from 72 holes to 54 holes because of hazardous air quality earlier in the week. It is gorgeous right now, and Georgia Hall in the City of Roses is in full bloom. A second straight birdie to get to 12 under, and then just moments ago, her third at the par 5 12. Spins it back to within about 5 feet. She would roll that in, and Georgia Hall, the 2018 AIG Women's Open champion, is now in front of the defending champ by 1. Golf Channel and the LPGA Tour proudly present the race to the CME Globe. From Portland, Oregon, it's final round coverage of the Cambia Portland Classic. Since 1972, Portland has been welcoming the world's best women golfers, and Columbia Edgewater Country Club, a most gracious host. Just a week ago, this tournament could not have been played. In fact, this was the date on the calendar last week, last Sunday, is when the Portland Classic was supposed to be played. And because of the reschedule, we were able to move it to this week, and it has been a glorious Sunday today. Cheyenne Knight, a winner in Dallas last fall, and a playoff runner-up in Scotland last month, is trying to make a late push. The native Texan gets it to 10 under par. Grant Boone, Paige McKenzie, watching our defending champion, who's now one shot back. Jerry Foltz is following this final grouping.
And Hannah Green just playing some impressive golf, tee to green. Not too bad on the greens either. Couldn't get home on this par 5 and 2, but went ahead and laid up with a 3-wood to get as close as she could. Left herself a great angle for about a 40-yard pitch shot.
You see the victory at the KPMG Women's PGA Championship. She'll be the defender there when the tournament moves to Aronimink in Philadelphia in 3 weeks' time. She's trying to go back-to-back. Only 3 have ever done it, and you've heard of them all. Kathy Whitworth, Annika Sorenstam, and Brooke Henderson.
Thank you.
Put up a great defense so far this week. One of the impressive things last year was just how solid she was. Didn't seem to ever really open the door. And then, of course, with Yalimi, who was leading, faltered. She was right there to pick up. And once again, just seems to not really beat herself in this position. However, now one back, she's going to have to make something happen.
I think the picture is pretty clear in her mind, because you rarely see them ask their fellow competitor to go fix their ball mark that might be in their line some 40 yards away. And that's right next to where that ball mark was. Good shot under the hole.
That'll be a putt to get to 13 under and tie Georgia Hall, who is 5 under today. It was a 2-shot lead when the round began for 33-year-old Englishwoman Mel Reid. She's withstood a double bogey early on, Jerry, and she's at 11 under.
A bogey and a double, and both times thereafter she birdied the next hole. Still over par and hitting some great shots, not getting all the breaks, but seems to be not letting it affect her.
It's a nice creative little shot. Gotta get some breaks.
That didn't leave herself a great angle. She too tried getting to the front edge and left it over there on the right side. Not good.
And the 18th 23-year-old second-year player from USC, Robin Ree. Southern California native, played at Southern Cal collegiately. Her career best finish right here 2 years ago in her rookie season. She was tied for 9th. Right now she's tied for 5th. As we go to 13, we say hello to Karen Stupples.
Well, and from one English person here in the booth to another one down there on the ground, Gail, Georgia Hall.
She's playing some great golf today. And I have not yet seen she or Harry, her caddy, go for the phone to see where they stand.
And we're going to follow this ball with our TrackMan Tracer technology presented by NEC.
And this hole today played 144 yards. It is into a slight breeze, and that's a 7-iron for Georgia. Beautiful play. That water comes in dangerously close on the left-hand side.
And that's right in her range. She's pretty good from that distance.
To 12. And Mel Reed sizing up a birdie putt, trying to win for the first time in her LPGA career, a proven winner. And Jerry, she did what very few would want to do, and that's stand up on the first tee of a Solheim Cup on opponent's soil, as she did in Des Moines in 2017, and hit the very first tee shot with the crowd going crazy. She did it.
Yeah, and they picked the right person for it. She is tough. You can just see the steely stare in her eyes as well. We saw her miss a couple of really good looks at 9 and 10. Those were a little bit uphill. This one downhill should be no problem getting it there, although slightly defensive.
On her 33rd birthday yesterday, she went out in 31. She had 65, took a 2-shot lead. Right now she trails by 2, but a lot of golf to come. Our tournament summary is brought to you by Volunteers of America. Mel Reed holding the lead for the first time, entering a final round in her LPGA career. Defending champ Hannah Green trying to go back-to-back like Kathy Whitworth, Annika Sorenstam, and Brooke Henderson. And Amy Olsen was the only player without a bogey through the first 2 days. Played her first 8 bogey-free, then bogeyed 9 and 10. Tournament summary from Volunteers of America. Yang. Jerry, you say she's one of the most underrated players, perhaps in part because she hasn't won in the U.S. 3 wins in Thailand, 1 in Korea.
Yeah, she's, well, there are very few overachievers in the game of golf. But you certainly expect her to win more with her game and that awesome golf swing.
She's not underrated out here, is she, Karen?
Not one bit, as Amy Olsen tee shot away.
7-iron taking dead aim.
That's what she's going to have to do. Just be a little bit more aggressive and try to get that confidence back and swinging strongly through impact.
Hannah Green tied the all-time tournament record at 21 under par last year. It was a 4-day event. This is to get into a share of the lead at 13 under in this 3-rounder.
Yeah, and she hasn't asked, her caddy hasn't asked. I haven't seen them look at phones either. Oh, good putt there.
Wow. She'd already taken a step before the ball had dropped. Made a huge par save a couple of holes ago, as she did on the final hole at the KPMG Women's PGA and here last year. Now par putt for Mel Reed. One over for the day. 2 shots behind the co-leaders. Well, the last few years in the major championships, we have seen some incredible stories. Georgia Hall at the 2018 AIG Women's Open at Lytham won the event coming from behind, and then a couple of events later came here to Portland, had the lead going into the final round, fell, wound up finishing second to Marina Alex. Last year at the KPMG Women's PGA Championship, Hannah Green went wire to wire with a clutch putt on the 72nd hole to win at Hazeltine and hold off a slew of proven winners, including some major champions. And then 5 events later came here to Portland and came from behind on Sunday to defeat then 19-year-old Yelee Minot. So Georgia Hall and Hannah Green, proven major winners who've had success here. They're tied for the lead as we go down the stretch.
We go forward to the 15th. This is Cheyenne Knight. Sharp dogleg to the right, par 4. And I think a really nice hole location for these players today, and one that really could be taken advantage of, Paige.
Good opportunity for her right there.
Hannah Green and Georgia Hall on top of the leaderboard here at the Canberra Portland Classic. Mel Reed, the overnight leader, trying to make up some ground later. back on the green on the 13th at the Portland Cambia Classic. This is Georgia Hall, and this for the lead, Gail.
Her proximity to the hole has been about this distance all day long, if not closer. So she's comfortable with this distance. It's a little bit downhill.
Maybe a little more hit to that stroke than we generally see, but
trying to make it understandable.
That's a kind of an art to golf, isn't it? You know, you're trying to make it, but you've got to try and trick yourself into thinking that you're not trying to make it.
It's the ultimate contradiction, this game. But nice little run for Georgia.
Absolutely, and now Amy trying to get one back here, jump back up onto that leaderboard, get it a little closer to the leaders. This may go just a hair to her right. She read a lot into that.
These greens are very sneaky, and you have to be so committed to the line that you choose. It's very easy to be tentative because you're just so unsure some of the times when you're out there. And she'll have a few holes left to try and make up some ground, but we'll go back to the tee whilst we saw Hannah Green waiting to tee off. And Jerry, you noticed something interesting back there that was going on with phones.
Yeah, her caddy Nate Blasco had his phone out. I told him he can obviously check with me anytime, but caddies were checking out the scores. It's their only way of knowing. Totally allowed. This shot here though has your full attention. 144 of the hole into a little breeze. If you pull it left of the hole a little, it's 147 just to get over the water. This is the common area, right side of the green.
Goes back to Karen, what you're saying, being fully committed. You got to find that target, be fully committed to it. If there's any doubt whatsoever, this is that's the shot you'll see, is that slight little bail.
And now Amy, and we just see the flag fluttering there, Jerry. Is that going to play much into these players' minds here?
Oh yeah, because you can see the flag fluttering, the tee's elevated, you can feel the breeze into you on the tee. You just wonder how much is at the top of these rather magnificent trees, because that's where the 7 iron's going to be headed. Plenty of club. Ideally, you'd like to hit the shot easy to keep it from climbing into the breeze and costing you distance.
And Jerry, we're going to take a look at the ball flight of Amy's shot with our TrackMan Tracer technology presented by NEC.
Uh-oh, this is left.
Oh,
I don't know how you hit it there, between the water and the bunker.
yeah, that'll be interesting. Interesting lie. Maybe have to stand maybe even it's slightly half in, half out of that bunker.
And unexpected, really, from what we've seen of Amy Yang so far today.
Now, Mel on the tee.
One thing about Mel that I've noticed today and yesterday, she is not aiming away from flag 6. She'll hit a few shots away from him, like this one, but she doesn't aim away from him.
She's got such an attitude of not being afraid of the situation. Even if maybe physically she's not performing, mentally you can see her willing to confront whatever she's facing.
So this is now the 15th, and Cheyenne Knight.
After a couple of very nice long putts, not able to get that one to go.
Was that Salas finishing up third round? Okay, to 9 under. Tied for 14th. It's time for our course setup. It's brought to you by the Golf Course Superintendents Association of America, Columbia Edgewater.
A beautiful venue, as we can see today, and A.V. McCain, such a great influence throughout the Northwest with a couple great golf courses, Seattle Golf Club, Overlake up in Washington State. Jim Myers has done a tremendous job as superintendent here. Only been at the golf course for a couple years, but faced with a lot of adversity this year and got the golf course in great condition.
Yalimi No had a 3-shot lead going into the final round last year. Lost it late to Hannah Green. She's now trying to return the favor. Just 20 years old.
It was so impressive how polished she was last year. Excuse me.
Mariah Stackhouse to join the group at 10 under. It's for a 67.
It's amazing. We're seeing so many low scores, so many birdies, but it doesn't. You still have to get the ball in the hole. These women are playing some great golf.
And they're making 18 look a little easier than it really is. That
So
hole
true.
location over on the left. Couple of major champions tied for the lead. Hannah Green and Georgia Hall. Today's coverage is brought to you by Cambia Health Solutions. Act with grace. Cover your face. Volunteers of America, helping America's most vulnerable. And by CME Group, how the world advances.
And the 13th hole, Mel Reid with a putter, Jerry, from off the green.
Yeah, a little surprising. There's plenty of green with which to work, but dead straight to the hole. Oh, goodness.
That's something that she's done a couple of times this week. We saw her do it at the A&A Inspiration too, just from where that ball is sitting really tight. I think she's used to keeping the ball on the ground. Of course, growing up in the UK, we're much more familiar with the ball on the ground philosophy, especially if you played links golf, like Georgia Hall is particularly good at as we go down to see her.
Yeah, and Gail, she's accomplished step one, found the fairway at this claustrophobic 14th.
I love that word. That's exactly how I feel on this hole. You stand on the tee and it's wide open, and then you feel like you're hitting it into a shoebox. She's on the correct side of the fairway to attack this flag.
It was a Cinderella story, certainly, when she won at Lytham. Karen, I know you know what that feeling is like, winning in your home country at a major championship like that.
It's the best because you know that everybody is there to support you and to cheer for you, and walking up the 18th hole and just
Her dad.
yeah, being able to do it with him on the back, man, that's very special.
Giving me goosebumps.
She's got a chance for more goosebumps here this week.
129 to the hole. Just a smooth 9-iron.
Looks dejected, Paige.
I would love misses like that. But it was not solid contact. We've seen some brilliant short irons from her earlier in the round. But she'll still have a good look at birdie. Keep that roll going.
Hannah Green with a birdie try, Jerry.
Yeah, had to wait a little while here for Amy Yang, who made a bit of a mess and has about 20 feet for bogey. This one, though, pretty flat speed-wise. If anything, a little downhill. Should be moving left, but not a ton.
I think when I look at Hannah Green, I think she's so composed on the golf course. She just kind of stays in her own little bubble, in her own sort of keeping her brain in her own game, and I think perfectly suited to major championships.
It's time now for our consumer cellular worth talking about. We say g'day to these three major champions from down under. Kari Webb, 7 major championships. Jan Stevenson was the first, and Hannah Green the most recent. And like she's doing this week, she'll have another title to defend coming up in a few weeks. That's our consumer cellular worth talking about. That'll be the KPMG Women's PGA.
We'll go back down to the 13th, and this is now Amy Yang for her bogey.
Yeah, tried hitting the super short-sided flopper from 1 foot in the bunker on the second and left it short of the green, and then kind of thin the next one. So,
Wow. Almost.
well, from my angle, that went straight over top of the hole.
Same from here, actually, Jerry. That's why I said wow, because I actually thought it was in. It was a fake out.
All right, Gail, we're looking at what Amy Olsen sees, and this is for her third.
Yes, she actually took fairway off the tee and hit it way left, had to pitch it out. And this is a 9-iron from 127.
That'll give her a good look.
So back down to the 13th. This is Hannah Green to save her par and to stay on top of the leaderboard with Georgia Hall.
Well, you're talking about her composure. This Tesla right here, doesn't it? 6-7 feet, turning a little left. Oh my.
That is an unforced error. As much as we talked about how solid she not only was last year, but has been so far today, and not beating herself, not making these kind of unforced errors. That was a surprise on this par 3.
And that's about as hot under the collar as I've seen her get, actually.
Well, also very true.
Now Reed.
Shouldn't be much to this at all. A little cleanup work, but nice.
So after Hannah Green drops a shot there at the 13th, Georgia Hall is still in the lead, 1 shot ahead. Mel Reid still trying to chase down Hannah Green to get her first win.
After her first 3-putt of the week, Hannah Green now 1 back on the tee at 14.
Mel Reid already played her shot with driver, hit a good one up the right center. This looks like 3-wood. And understandably so. You can't see the fairway from the tee, and the way the trees frame it makes it look like there really isn't one. This is right, though. You got to get lucky over there. You can be in the fairway and still blocked out.
All right, here is our leader. Chance to extend the lead, Gail.
And this should move just a hair to her right. It's a good stroke.
Really nice roll. Oof. And that's the game plan for the next couple of holes, is just continue to give yourself good opportunities. She has the ability to get on these nice little rolls with her putter.
Tiptoes in for the tap in. Her lead is 1. She's in the group right in front of the final group, which includes Hannah Green. PGA Tour heads to the Dominican Republic with early season FedEx Cup points on the line. Coverage of the Corrales Punta Cana Resort and Club Championship Thursday, 3 p.m. Eastern on Golf Channel. Week off for the LPGA Tour coming up, and then to the ShopRite in Atlantic City. That was a par putt for Amy Olson.
Very tentative.
That exhale kind of probably speaks more loudly than anything she could have verbalized.
Yeah, it's disappointing when you put yourself in position for 2.5 days and let it slowly slip away.
Now you go back to a year ago. Hannah Green had just won the KPMG Women's PGA Championship, but it was the 19-year-old Yeleni No, Monday qualified, who had a 3-shot lead going into the day and led by 3 after that birdie at 14. But here came Hannah at the 15th, got within 2. Then Yeleni for par. No, at 16, a bogey, and her lead was 1. And then Hannah Green just touches it. Perfectly judged. Tied. And then on the 18th, with No having missed for par, Green buried it similar length to the putt she made at Hazeltine to win the KPMG Women's PGA Championship, and she takes home that huge trophy trying to do it again. Recent champions here in Portland, it went to a 72-hole event in 2013 when you saw those scores began to go lower and lower. Brooke Henderson and Hannah Green, the 72-hole tournament record of 21 under par. Just 3 rounds this week because of the hazardous air quality, the fires blowing smoke into the entire Willamette Valley, including here in Portland. And as we said earlier, incredibly, had this tournament been played last week as it was originally scheduled when the year began, they couldn't have played. So with all that's gone wrong in 2020, actually a bit of a break for the Candia Portland Classic, which has meant so much to women's golf. Okay, so Jerry, what is the situation here for the approach for Hannah?
I think the wind's meant to be into us, though. What's that? The wind was supposed to be into us. Yeah, it's supposed to be in off the right, but right now I just feel it off the right.
Well, she's got a pretty clear line barely to that right hole location. 136 and a 9-iron. Good smooth one. Can't really feel the wind that you could feel on the previous hole. Nate Blasco said off the right. That's pretty much what it feels like.
Go.
it went and then stayed. That to get back to 13 under and tie for the lead.
And that would be a nice bounce back, considering the 3-putt on the previous hole.
Can Amy Yang bounce back? She's running out of holes.
Really good angle in from here, 109 to the hole. A little bit of a downhill lie, which takes some spin off it. Just left to the hole, some 10 feet.
It's nice. Key on those downhill lies is don't fight the fact the trajectory is going to come out a little bit lower. You can see that low finish allowing the ball to just hit a lower window.
And now Mel Reid began the day with a 2-shot lead. She trails by 2.
100 yards slight uphill lie. Got to be careful to control the spin here. Pulled it a little though. We won't be happy with the result. Not bad.
We'll get a read from Amy Yang. Turned 33 yesterday. Shot 5 under 31 on her first 9 holes. 65 for the round. And a 2-shot lead when the day began, but now 2 behind. Can Yelimi No turn the tables on what happened to her last year? She's 2 shots back with 3 to play.
So locations all the way back in the far right corner of the green. You can see it just wavering inside that bunker on the right. Turned out just fine.
It'll be a lot better than she thought it would. Didn't like the contact at all. Just 20 years old. At the 18th, Angela Stanford quietly has played some good golf since the restart.
It's interesting to talk to some of the younger players and some of the older players and what that COVID break was. And for a player like Angela who spent, her entire adult life playing competitive golf, it was, I think, a refresher for her.
Back down to the 15th fairway now. Amy Olsen getting ready for her second shot.
146 yards to the pin. Karen, very accessible pin.
Actually, Gail, this hole is playing the easiest it's played all week. And I think partly down to this, where the flag is.
Just 7 on, 3 from the left.
There it is. A couple good iron shots the last couple holes. See if she can convert that one.
Back at the 14th, and Mel Reid lining up a birdie putt to try to get a little bit closer to Georgia Hall, her countrywoman. And she was a vice captain at the Solheim Cup last year, where Georgia Hall starred and helped lead the Euros to that thrilling victory, which we just had the 1-year anniversary of just a few days ago.
And it was actually, she was kind of considered the first woman out in the captain's pick selections. They chose, Katrina Matthew chose Suzanne Pettersson, and there was disappointment, of course, in not playing. Obviously, she went over and was assistant captain and enjoyed being part of that experience. But that was 1 year ago this week when those selections took place. And I remember talking to her about kind of the disappointment and I guess the vote of no confidence almost in not getting selected.
Suzanne Pettersson proved to be a pretty good choice.
I'm not arguing with the selection. It worked out.
The walk-off winner for Suzanne. And as we see Georgia Hall, to Reid's credit, she said, you can't blame anybody when you don't get picked. You got to work your way in. 15.
This is Hall.
134 to the hole, 9 iron. She turned away. I'm not sure if she liked it or not. Maybe not.
I think when you get given a nice wide open hole location, you really have to take advantage of it. She knows that she can't sit back and wait. She has to keep playing aggressive.
Jerry was no Reid for Mel Reid. Amy Yang now.
Got a great read from Mel, though. And I think the reason Mel put it first was because Amy would have been standing on her mark.
I was wondering that when it came to rest. Could you take advantage?
Good try. Good try.
One of the most respected players by her peers on tour, not just for her golf swing, but her character, Amy Yang. All right, an opportunity here for Hannah Green.
big opportunity, big putt here, 8 feet, maybe 9 feet straight up the hill. After the 3-putt bogey at the last, with the holes dwindling down, Paige, each one of these just becomes all that much more monumental.
This is kind of where we saw Hannah shine last year. She made a lot of those putts this week last year, not just another skim across the edge.
She lips out for par at 13, burns the edge at 14. And Hall will continue to lead by 1. She's just waiting for the last hole or two.
Well,
for
there
more
was a lot
heroics.
that happened last year in those last 4 holes.
And that's where we are headed as the Cambia Portland Classic crescendos on this Sunday.
Back on the tee at the 15th, this is Mel Reid.
Little breeze in from the left. That one's at the very left edge of the fairway. Used a lofted fairway wood, though.
Okay.
That'll be just fine in the first cut. Again, that whole location in the front portion of the green.
Now Hannah also just dialing it back down off this tee shot.
Big mistake here is, well, big mistake's hitting it right at all right of center, and you sometimes get blocked out even when you're in the fairway, but the right bunker's almost always bogey, so you hit a club that's going to stay short of that. If you're in the fairway, you can do something with it. Left side of the fairway is ideal. This is left a little bit.
Didn't like the strike, but clinging onto that fairway and should be okay. Now up ahead, this is Georgia Hall for her birdie to extend her lead.
And Karen, it's easy to read something into this that isn't there. This side of the green is very flat.
This side, I think the whole isn't the whole green pretty flat?
Well, it is, but I think this side is just like a tabletop.
One of the very few greens out there that
Absolutely,
are perfectly, not perfectly flat, but
you get to this one, you get excited.
that's right.
Amy Olsen after that really quite pleasant approach shot in here for birdie.
And Karen, she did get a read off of Celine Boutier's putt. And to move her marker, and has moved it back, so.
Does this one do anything?
No.
Well, let's see if she can get a little bit of momentum coming into this last stretch.
And just finish strong.
I think, you know, when you're a player like Amy,
there she goes.
Very nice. You know, she's just getting used to being in this position still. Like, I think there's an adjustment to make when you put yourself in position to go ahead and win. It's kind of, you've got to get used to that. Like, some people aren't quite ready to make that leap, to know what it takes to do it. So she's getting used to it.
Here's Yelimi No to get within 1. She didn't like the tee shot and didn't like the putt. It's going to be a par.
I mean, I think for everybody, when seeking, to win on a Sunday, you stand on that first tee knowing you're capable. But it's the difference between hoping that it happens for you and believing it will happen for you.
Well, it happened for Georgia Hall, winner of the AIG Women's Open 2 summers ago. Looking for her second LPGA Tour title, the 24-year-old from England.
Back on the 15th hole, this is Hannah Green with her second shot, Jerry.
Yeah, great line, great lie, great angle, little breeze off the left. Should be 7-iron. The only real trouble with getting one closer is there's no real depth perception because the green sets at fairway height and it's as flat as you guys mentioned, so it's almost what they call a see-through green. Although this is just making a beeline for the flag.
She'll have another great chance. That's 2 good iron shots back to back. Trying to keep the pressure on. It's just whether she can go ahead and make the putt. Now, Reid.
Ball a little below her feet, but a nice lie on that first cut of rough. This is a 9-iron. Just a little left of the hole, trying to work its way back.
Looked like she liked it, just not quite enough.
We'll see if she's able to maybe putt that one again, but there looked like there might be something in the way.
A couple sprinkler heads
Yes.
maybe impeding that line.
Okay, our leader by 1, Georgia Hall at the par 3 16th. We're going to look at her tee shot with the NEC TrackMan Tracer technology. Gail Graham has been following along.
This one playing 162. Georgia hitting 6-iron, and that is well right. Definitely a miscue.
Did that hop into the rough?
It looked like it did. Which in a lot of ways the bunker is a lot more predictable and a little easier to anticipate the result.
Jasmine Suwanapura to finish with a birdie and a 67. The runner-up to Sophia Popov at the AIG Women's Open last month at Troon.
So at the 17th, Maury Jutanagan for her birdie. Just moving along quite nicely again, and it's good to see, Moria playing well again. Does have just the one win, but I think a player that will get more wins.
Jody Ewart-Chadoff matched Mel Reed with the low round of the day yesterday, a 65.
This is seeing a variety of different names on the leaderboard. It's a golf course that really rewards a variety of different players. Somebody like Memoria Jutanagan who can place it in the fairway. Georgia Hall is a tremendous putter. Hannah Green is just a tactician around the golf course.
Had a second at the marathon after a 5th at Inverness the week before. Don't miss any of the action. Get PGA Tour live on NBC Sports Gold for exclusive early round coverage, featured groups, speed rounds, and more. NBCSports.com/PGA Tour. Check it out. Ashley Buhai is tied for 3rd, 6 under, and this for a 65, and to post 12 under. Just saying. Might not want to leave.
I certainly wouldn't if she could drain this one. But been a nice little run today. 3 birdies in her last 4 holes. Green slope's pretty good from back to front, so it should be moving from her right to left.
Is it enough? It
Nice.
is. Is it enough to win? We'll see. She's your leader among those who are finished, looking for her first LPGA Tour title. The 31-year-old from Johannesburg, South Africa. 9th year on the LPGA Tour. It's Georgia Hall and Gail Graham. How about this second shot?
Well, 2 difficulties. One, the grass is growing towards her and the ball is sitting quite down in it. And the second, she hasn't hardly missed a green today, so she hasn't had to make this little pick shot or this swing. And she truly needs to stay very aggressive through the ball because there's going to be a lot of grass between the club face and the ball.
She's hit 11 of her last 12 greens until here.
Yeah, there's some serious challenge in determining how this ball is going to come out of here. You got to have that speed through impact to make sure you land it over the rough.
Exactly. That was really
Beautiful.
well played. Wow.
Nearly perfect.
That was exceptional. Being able to grip down, that's a huge bonus to be able to control that club face. Watch how far down she's gripped on the shaft nearly. Can create the speed, but without the power. You need the speed to get it through the rough, but you don't want the ball to explode on you.
So back to the 15th. This is a moment ago. Reed for her birdie off the green with putter, Jerry.
Yeah, she originally called for a ruling, and they never showed up, so she just went ahead and hit it. Just missed the sprinkler head and the hole, unfortunately.
So now we go down to Hannah Green live.
And just not much to it. The green breaks so little, if anything. Looks like it should turn just slightly left early, but maybe an inch.
Oh,
A quick walk is a killer.
I mean, it should lip in from the high side. What did you thought?
We just saw the camera angle from the ground. Was she walking in because she thought she made it? I thought it was rolled.
It looked like the I made it walk.
That is, wow, it almost wobbled the last 4 inches. It looks like it was heading in and then just straightened out.
A pair of lips and a burned edge here the last few holes.
Well, that's where you got to stay patient. You know, again, she's got to continue to stay in it and be patient. Try to get those opportunities when she can.
All right, Yang, Jerry, to try and claw one back.
Solid.
And I quite like this look she's got now with this putter. She looks really solid. She's just rocking the shoulders. And we could see Amy Yang at the top of these leaderboards more often with that kind of putting going on. Now Reed to save par.
Yeah, 5 or 6 feet just to try and keep herself within shouting distance. Big putt here.
There it is. She's hanging in there, but one of the only names on the leaderboard that's over par today, just not able to get that little momentum. Get those putts to drop for birdie instead of par saves.
There's Ashley Buhai. It's already been a good year for the Buhai family. David Buhai is the regular caddy from Nadalyn Sagstrom, and while he wasn't on the bag when Nadalyn won, his player Sagstrom has a victory under her belt. Could Buhai be playing a few more holes today? Golf Channel and the LPGA Tour welcome you back to the Beaver State, the Cambia Portland Classic. And we can see Mount Hood. We can see more than 1/8 of a mile, which we couldn't earlier in the week. Visibility was so bad the tournament was shortened from 72 to 54 holes as this event was played for its first 40 years, going back to 1972. But Georgia Hall and Hannah Green, a couple of major champions, are neck and neck, and Ashley Buhai is right there as well. Grant Boone, Paige McKenzie, Karen Stupples, Jerry Foltz, Gail Graham. And our final group is on the tee at the 16th. Mel Reed.
Full 7-iron there for Mel. And this one has her hopes pretty high.
Oh. Had to have looked great in the air. It was great. Players have talked about, Paige, how often they have spun even mid-irons.
Well, and this is the firmest,
greens.
typically the firmest green on the golf course for the players. You can see still just able to hit and stop. Just a little more moisture on the golf course than traditionally we see this time of year.
Jerry, this is where Hannah Green made her move last year. She was trailing Yelimi No, who was just 18 years old at the time.
Yeah, this is a whole location traditionally you don't even aim at. Today you can, obviously. This is right. That's, oh, and in the bunker, that's probably the best place she could be. Missing the green right would be much tougher up and down.
And that's what Georgia Hall just did. A tremendous up and down from the thick rough. Green has missed the green in regulation. She'll have a bunker shot in a moment, trailing Hall by 1. 25 years ago, Englishwoman Alison Nicholas won the Cambia Portland Classic, and Karen, Portland was pretty good to Allison Nicholas, wasn't it?
It was, because she won the US Open at Pumpkin Ridge, and I think broke the hearts of a lot of Americans everywhere, because she beat Nancy Lopez.
Could it be, Karen? Could it be for Yelimi No?
Well, she's slowly moving in there. She's now 12. She's got one more hole. We saw Ashley Buhai go ahead and finish off in style. Can Yelimi go ahead and do it?
And we've seen a couple of birdies on the 18th.
Yeah.
So there's still a chance.
Mel Reid just turned 33 yesterday. In 2012, her parents were traveling to Germany to watch their daughter play when they were involved in a head-on collision, and her mother, Joy, died. Our Golf Channel colleague Quentin Watson takes us along on Reid's road to recovery from the day that changed her life.
Like a hospital, like a monitor. Just got this feeling that something's not right. And I just got in the car and I just put in the nearest hospital. The doctor came out and told me the whole situation, that because of her injury, she'd had internal bleeding, and even if she survived, she'd probably be 95% brain dead. And then I went to go and pick my brother and sister up, and by the time we got to the hospital, she'd already passed away.
4 weeks after the accident, Mel not only returned to the tour, but won in a stunning victory at the Prague Masters. But in the following days, her emotions remained raw.
Obviously, a win is amazing, but I think winning I don't know, it kind of made everything feel like it was okay, and it definitely wasn't. Like I hadn't even got to the grieving parts.
Now, Mel is ready for a new challenge and eager to reach her playing potential.
In late 20s, you feel old, which is crazy. This will always be a part of me, I understand that, but I feel like it's very close that something's just going to click, and my golf will just kind of explode into a completely different level that I've never seen before.
That was our colleague Whit Watson, and she said, I do believe that I have not yet come close to reaching my full potential. Well, it's going to take every bit of Hannah Green's work around the green here.
Yeah, horrible break there, plugging the first plug ball I've seen all week.
Well, she has lipped out twice and burned an edge here on the back nine, and Hannah Green's got that for par just to stay one back.
Back to 17th. Our leader, Georgia Hall.
Just missed the fairway by a couple steps to the right. The tree in front of her poses no problem. She's got 149 to the hole. An okay lie. And that's a good solid 8-iron will get her there.
Just want to make sure you keep it out to the right on this whole location. All the trouble is long and to the left. I always like to grip it a little bit tighter. Keep that club face open.
It sounded like there was a little bit of grass between the ball and the club face. I kept up a little short. Not a bad miss, though.
No, but if you're going to miss, that's where to leave it. Again, in this position, it's about not beating yourself. Take advantage of opportunities when you can, but be conservative when you have to be.
Is it too late for Amy Yang? 16.
If she can make this, doesn't do much, just moving a little right. Flag stick remaining in. Right on line.
Wow.
Oof.
That was to get within 2 with 2 to play. Hannah Green, 1 back and a tough putt for par coming up, or at least tough. Just stick with tough.
Yeah, well, if you're putting it, I don't care if you're on the green or not. You can call it a putt. Can't call it a chip. Slightly back uphill.
Drop shots at 13 and 16, both of the back 9 par 3s. One was a 3-putt and one was from a fried egg in the bunker.
Some days you feel like it's just your day. Things happen, and then there's other days like this where you just can't catch a break. You make a mistake, but then it's compounded by a bad break, and that's kind of what happened off of the tee here. Not a good shot, left it in the bunker, but it should have been a pretty straightforward bunker shot, only to be disappointed to walk up to a fried egg.
Now, an opportunity here for Mel Reid, looking for her first LPGA Tour title. This to get within one.
Gotta hit it.
Oh, she had a great look at 9, didn't she? She left short.
We've seen a couple today, and that was not even giving it a go. There was, gotta believe, some nerves involved in that. At least some doubt.
We mentioned that Solheim Cup when she hit the first tee shot on Friday morning. Right after her in that foursomes competition, Lexi Thompson drove the green and Christy Kerr made eagle, but Mel Reid, Charlie Hull fought back. Oh dear. Oh dear. He fought back for a half point, but now from birdie opportunity to 3-putt. And it's slipping away on this Sunday for Mel Reid. 2 holes left, 3 shots behind.
At Columbia Edgewater, this is the 17th hole, and Georgia Hall will have this for birdie to extend her lead to 14 under par, but it is an outside chance, Gail.
Outside chance, and the last 10 feet of this putt are a little downhill, so it could get away from her if she doesn't pay attention. Just try to cozy this up here. Should have a bit of a swing from her right to left as well.
Really
Not too
nice.
bad.
Yeah, nicely
she
judged there.
She's been steady as a rock on this back 9.
And that's something that we've seen from Georgia Hall. I mean, obviously we saw it at Lytham when she went ahead and won the AIG Women's Open. And of course now we saw it in the Solheim Cup as well. I mean, so solid across the board there. And you put a little bit of pressure on that player, she's going to respond.
Moria Jatanagarn to finish at 11 under. Older sister of Aria Jatanagarn, we saw walking around yesterday holding her back, feeling well.
Tee shot on the way for Mel Reid on the 17th.
Staying aggressive, started that one up the left. Excellent position.
And now Hannah on the tee, Hannah Green, just a little move there from the top down.
Has to be a little rattle carried with that plug lie on the last hole leading to a bogey.
Yeah, that's the opposite of kind of what we saw last week with Miriam Lee chipping in a couple of times. You think it might be your day, but then when you get to the 16th hole like that, you plug, you think it might not be your day.
Yeah, definitely not now. That's in the right rough and stymied.
It's a very demanding finishing stretch of holes at Columbia Edgewater, and you've got to be perfect, you've got to be precise, and you can see just how in the last 2 shots that Hannah Green hit, 2 full shots, where just one little misstep can be compounded pretty quickly.
So this green at 17, pretty slopey, pretty undulating, and Amy Olsen will have this for a par. And Gail, you can fill us in on what's been happening.
She missed it from the middle of the fairway left into the bunker, and a decent bunker shot to here. It rolled out a little bit further than she wanted it to. But these last few holes are very difficult. You really have to stay in the present and stay on the shot that you're hitting to be able to score well on them. And she's just gone flat on this back 9.
I think that happens when you know that you have a chance to win the tournament, And then when you see it slipping away and you know you have no chance to win it, it's very difficult to finish the round off strong, knowing that you had that chance, you let it slip away, and you're just playing now for your position.
That's very true, Karen. You really have to learn to win and be comfortable in this position. And Georgia at least appears to be comfortable.
She, I would say so. She's very sort of cool, calm and collected, unflappable, and just has that right mentality for being in this spot.
Well, 19-year-old Yelimi No is just one shot back. She has put herself out of position, so that's going to be her third shot coming up on this par 4 18th. She trails Georgia Hall by 1. Hall heads to the 18th, looking for her first victory since the AIG Women's Open in 2018.
Hello, I'm Mark Gans.
And I'm Tom Miletus.
This is the 49th year of the Portland Classic, which for the first time is for a TV audience only.
Our hearts and prayers are with those who have been affected by the wildfires in our beautiful home state.
We ask that you consider a donation to the Red Cross to help people and families in need.
Let's be inspired by the resiliency and hope demonstrated by these amazing LPGA athletes at a time when we need it most.
We hope you stay safe and healthy as you watch the Cambia Portland Classic.
Someone once asked me to define the word power. For me, it's the opportunity to make a difference.
Having talent is one thing, but you have to do the work. I spend about 2 hours a day on my swing, another 2 on my short game, every day. Because hard work is the only way to improve your game. That's just what you have to do.
It's part mornings, part learning, part doing, equal parts downtime and go time. Dash of family, scoop of home. At Bob's Red Mill, that's how you make good food with great heart. And that's just our recipe. Feel free to make it your own.
I'm Bob Moore, and that's me on the package.
Aronimink Golf Club sets the stage for the biggest names in women's golf, who will have their major moment. The KPMG Women's PGA Championship, October 8th through 11th.
Last year as an 18-year-old Monday qualifier, Yelimi No had the lead going into the final round, lost it late to Hannah Green. Here she's got a chance to join the group at 12 under in the clubhouse.
And again, this green slopes pretty good from back to front, so this green will hold. In fact, she has more risk of losing it, spinning it off of the green, I think, than anything else.
Third shot on the par 4. Doesn't like it. Went to the Q Series, finished third after that first year as a professional. She's got to make that to join Ashley Buhai among those finishers at 12 under. On the tee at 18, leading by 1, Georgia Hall.
And Grant, the wind coming from left to right. Georgia's missed the last couple of tee shots. She's hit a little bit right, but she went down quick to pick the tee up for that one. And it is perfect.
We talked about it earlier this week, some of the familiar names we're seeing at the top of the leaderboard. Yelimi No, Hannah Green. Georgia Hall also had this opportunity back in 2018 to get it done.
Yeah, finished second that year.
Now Green with her second shot at 17 and just chopping out sideways.
Yeah, had nothing from there. Couldn't even see the golf ball.
Oof. That's a harsh penalty, missing this fairway at 17.
Hit movies, current shows, exclusive originals, timely updates. Watch for free, upgrade for more, peacocktv.com. Chance to see some of the U.S. Men's Open with Peacock.
Green now with her third shot.
121 yards with the wind helping. Should be a little pitching wedge. Not the best angle to try and force one close and make par.
Well, she'll still have a chance.
Solid recovery.
Yep, for that par. Now, Yang.
This isn't much fun.
5 yards right of the pen, fine.
Being a little optimistic on Kevin's behalf with a pitch 5 yards right of the flag stick with the ball well below her feet. Downhill lie as well. And not a great lie.
Key here, just stay in the posture. The ball's going to leak a little bit to the right.
All things considered, pretty good.
Yep.
All right, a must-make to have a chance to win. You let me know for par.
It's the tee shot. And in so many of these holes, the tee shot can be so costly if you don't hit the fairway. It's a similar mistake that she actually made when she was in contention last year on the 72nd hole, missing it to the right.
2020 has aged us all. I think I gave Yelimi one more year than she actually has on Earth earlier. She is 19, and she's going to come up just short. Georgia Hall in the fairway, leading by 1 in search of her second LPGA Tour title. And to do it here in Portland.
Final group of the day on the 17th hole. Mel Reid will be first to play, Jerry. This doesn't look too pretty.
No, and she hung her head in disappointment after the second shot that nearly ripped the flag out of the hole, the flagstick out of the hole. One bounce to here. Downhill lie, deep rough, green sloping away a little bit, moving right. Just such a tough shot.
It's one of those days, Jerry, I think Mel will learn a lot from in terms of her game. She's coming off a great week last week at the A&A Inspiration, another good week here. And last year she finished third at the KPMG Women's PGA Championship, and I can't help but think that I can see her playing quite well there.
The trajectory is moving in the right direction, and for Mel, she spoke last week actually of the work that she's done with sports psychologist Howard Falco and how much it's helped her, and they've only been working together for a month, which I just find fascinating for a 33-year-old player, kind of in the midst of the career, to have this resurgence due to something that's just mental. I mean, she's had the physical tools all along, and maybe there's just this key that's being unlocked.
I think everybody that's watched her play has felt that that's been the missing link. And I know a number of very well-known sports psychologists that have said to me, we would love to work with Mel Reid because we feel like this is exactly what she needs. So more power to her for making that step, realizing that this is where she needs to go. Now, Amy will have a chance for a birdie here.
Yeah, big swinger to the left. Also downhill. Oh, she's aiming this. Well, the initial aiming point's probably 5 feet right out of the hole.
This is a big putt for Yelimi No. This could get her into the U.S. Women's Open in December. For bogey, the top top 2 finishers, as long as they're in the top 10, not otherwise qualified, will earn a spot at Champions Golf Club in Houston. So at the moment, Ashley Buhai is going to have one of those spots, and Yalimi No would have the other. 17.
Now Hannah Green for her birdie. Par, sorry. And I think that, you know, she obviously now has to hope that Georgia Hall doesn't makes a mess on 18, and Hannah now has to go ahead and hold that from the fairway. But I think that's
an unlikely scenario.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. In that setting, you feel like you've given it away, or at least not given a full charge towards the end of the finish line.
Now Reed. Okay. Good save there from over the back of the green. As I said, I think this is something that she can learn from, move ahead, and it's still a good week. She'll be disappointed and cross with herself, but moving forward.
No, it's all on Georgia Hall now, but first Celine Boutier at 18.
And Grant from 137. Smooth 8-iron. Just going just a little safe and right of the hole.
So if Hall makes par, she wins. No one else can catch her after the bogey from Hannah Green. Ashley Buhai, a very interested spectator. She's done, shot 65. She's finished at 12 under. Easier said than done. Make par here and you win it, Gail.
Well, I'm not so sure Georgia knows where she stands. 133 at the hole. Beautiful solid 8-iron there. It's going a little left of the hole.
Looking anxiously.
Whoa.
Uh-oh. Ashley, hang tight. She had an incredible up and down at the 16th from the rough to save par, up and down to win the Cambia Portland Classic. Back on the tee at the 18th. Yang.
Well, not going to be her day to get that first North American win, but all you viewers at home, if you want to emulate a swing, path, but especially tempo, you just can't do better than this. And that was a complete announcer jinx. That is so far right. That's not far from the first fairway.
No, that's going to be a chip out and a layup.
Left to right, mate.
Yeah, 10 o'clock. Since the restart, the end of July, beginning of August, leaders entering the final round have not fared particularly well. Only Danielle Kang, who was in a 3-way tie for the lead at Inverness, and Sophia Popov have gone on to win. Reed led by 2. She'll fall short this week. That is the ball of her countrywoman, Georgia Hall, greenside bunker. And she'll have that for a third on this par 4, leading it by 1.
Grant, a very flat lie. The green does slope away from her. She's going to have to land this perhaps even into the fringe to have it grab and then roll out.
Statistically, sand saves are not her specialty. 127th on tour. Huge here.
Hit it. Yeah, just didn't come out with much backspin at all. Kind of came out with a pretty low trajectory onto that downslope. But she would have gotten a read at least as the ball rolled out.
Ashley Buhai with a 65. Remember the birdie at 18?
He's a good boy, isn't he?
To finish off her 7 under par round. That put her at 12 under, and now Georgia Hall is going to have a par putt to win outright. If she misses, She and Ashley Buhai will go right back to this 18th, assuming that Hall two putts. Boutier, birdie putt.
And Grant, this has a pretty good swing from right to left. As a result, the last 2 holes for her, just easing it by the edge.
Boutier and Georgia Hall were quite the dynamic duo.
They were. Solheim Cup
last year.
It's got to be a comfortable pairing for that reason, for both of them on Sunday, but in particular Georgia Hall. And she's had a little bit of time after that bunker shot to maybe cool off a little bit, reset. I think that's the hardest thing. If you have a bad shot, to immediately have to follow it up, and she'll have a chance to watch Amy Olsen here as well. She kind of mentally resets to try to make her putt.
Well, she's extremely focused right now. Amy's putt, very quick down the hill.
She went the first 44 holes of this 54-hole event without a bogey, but gave up shots at 9 and 10, again at 15 and 17 to miss out on a chance for her first victory. Ashley Buhai in the near ground trying to win for the first time as well. Georgia Hall has this to win the tournament.
Uphill with a little right to left turn.
Going overtime.
Disappointing way to finish her round. Had a bogey on the 3rd hole, but since then had played flawless golf. 6 birdies and put herself in good position throughout the day. It was just that approach shot into this last hole. You could see it at 133 yards with 8 iron. It was a lot of club. Probably trying to take a little bit off it, and had that come over the top. Long left miss.
So a drop shot at the last, and Georgia Hall will go into a playoff with Ashley Buhai. And what that does do, at least mathematically, is give Green and Reed a chance for something heroic. Par putt for Amy Olsen. Top 20 finish for her, tied for 17th at the moment. But a missed opportunity, certainly. She got it to 11 under. She was within 1 with 7 holes. We'll sign the card, put on the mask, get ready for a playoff. This is Mel Reed. If she were to do the near impossible, she could get to 12 under.
132 to the hole, uphill lie, Reason. Well, it's going to catch the green, but a long way from the hole. Or I thought it was.
Got the second part right. That's a long way from the hole, and that's going to be a tricky little, probably putt from there, kind of up, over, and around and down to get back towards that hole.
First time in this position, leading going into the final round. Actually, she had never led after any round on the LPGA Tour. 6 times a winner, Mel Reed on the LET. 3rd shot for Hannah Green.
Yeah, from bad to worse. Drove it left in the trees, was stymied. Played it out to just over 100 yards here. Nice looking one.
not join Kathy Whitworth, Annika Sorenstam, and Brooke Henderson, at least not this year, as back-to-back winners.
This final group fell just a little bit flat, and sometimes you get good momentum in your group when you see a lot of birdies going in, and sometimes kind of the negative momentum, or when golf feels hard, also permeates the group as well.
I think you hit the nail on the head earlier on when you were talking on 16 page. This group just hit a lot of quality shots and never got anything to show for it. It was one of those days where I think each of them felt like, you know, those mystical golf gods weren't in their favor.
This is going to be the first playoff on the LPGA Tour for either Ashley Buhai or Georgia Hall. Go back to the 18th to play it off. Georgia Hall going to go to a playoff with Ashley Buhai, and our Gail Graham has just told us that Georgia Hall did not know where she stood on the leaderboard. She did not know she had a one-shot lead. Just playing her game and made bogey the 18th, and so she will play off with Ashley Buhai at the 18th read.
Really just love to get one down there with a stress-free tap in. That's not going to, well, that was right on line too, but a little bit of work remaining.
And that trajectory continues in a positive direction for Mel Reid, tied for 5th. That to stay at that point. How about what Gail just told us?
I'm still dumbfounded. This is completely a product of the fact that we're not having leaderboards out the same we would normally have a huge leaderboard on the 18th, so the players would see it. She obviously has a choice to look or not look, but you wonder if the choice in the fairway would not have been different if she had known. And I'm surprised that her or her caddy did not look it up.
Defending champ Hannah Green finishing up for par. She had the lead for much of the day. A couple of lip outs on the back nine, another one that burned the edge. Just too many missed shots.
Just kind of hit a bump in the road, and it was almost like the tire fell off in that back nine. But to go back to the leaderboard discussion, there's no right answer on this. Marina Alex very vividly said that she won and she never looked at a leaderboard, and it was what worked for her. And if the decision wouldn't have been any different for Georgia Hall, then it wouldn't have mattered if she looked. I just personally think it's part of the competition to know where you're at. I personally think you see the best golf when you have head-to-head matchups and players know what they have to do and their back's against the wall and they achieve. It's a personal preference, but you wonder in a situation like this if the club selection wouldn't have been different, or if the shot selection wouldn't have been different if she had known.
Amy Yang. Good week for Amy. Had a chance. Tied for 5th. Beg your pardon, that drops her back to 9 under. Tied for 12th. Now Mel Reid.
Good stroke.
2 over par 74. And after a 7th at the A&A Inspiration, she's tied for 5th. We are going overtime to Cambia Portland Classic. And why not? Tournament shortened to 54 holes. Let's play at least one more. Georgia Hall and Ashley Buhai.
Sorry. If someone... Go back, please, again. If someone...
Today's coverage is brought to you by Cambia Health Solutions. Act with grace. Cover your face. Volunteers of America, helping America's most vulnerable. Win Grips, the best grips in golf. And by NEC, an official technology partner of the LPGA. We have a playoff. The Cambia Portland Classic. Georgia Hall had the lead going to the 18th hole, made bogey. And Ashley Buhai with a final round 65. We talked about it late yesterday, Paige McKenzie. Could somebody from 5, 6, 7 shots back come from behind? Well, Ashley Buhai did it. She was 7 behind Mel Reid.
It was an excellent day for her. Finished with a birdie on the 18th, which is what these players will be facing on this first playoff hole. Unexpected that the final group came out so flat-footed, but we saw some excellent golf from both of these players today.
All right, this is the 176th career start on the LPGA Tour for Ashley Buhai, looking for her first victory. Jerry Foltz is going to follow her.
And it all starts right here. You know the nerves are there. Take a deep breath and rely on that, which you've done for 3 straight days. Breeze out of the left and not an easy driving hole.
I like that she's staying on the right-hand side of this tee marker. It's a little easier to kind of shoot away towards that left side of the fairway. A lot of the trouble that we've seen from the players get into is on that right side.
The start at dead center, leaking a little right, in line with the bunker if it gets to it.
Ooh.
Just shy.
Could be awkward depending on how close it got to the front of that bunker. Georgia Hall, no playoff experience, but Gail Graham, a Solheim Cup star last year, defeated Lexi Thompson on Sunday in the singles, and that's not a playoff, but it feels like 18 holes of a playoff, kind of, doesn't it?
Well, and yes, and a major champion as well. She was clearly rattled after she found out that she bogeyed to end up into a playoff. Took some time to collect herself. And this right down the center cut of the fairway.
It's going to kick back in. She was that familiar tug of the driver when you think it could be left. Advantage Hall, you'd think, wouldn't you? At least.
In this case, it's not a bad angle for Ashley, but she will be hitting out of the rough.
Let's show you how they finished. Ashley Buhai, at the time she was 2 off the lead, and you think, oh, good finish, and just catches the edge, drops in.
It's just an excellent finish, too. Not only birdied the last, but 4 of her last 5 holes.
And then Georgia Hall from the fairway went long into the bunker, almost holed it to win.
It was a difficult bunker shot, the green sloping away from her. That's why you could see that ball roll out so much. Left her with a very difficult par putt, straight up the hill, right to left, and just underread it.
And Gail Graham determined and learned that she did not know where she stood, didn't know that she led by 1. She drops into a playoff.
And I think that's key, Grant, and for her getting off of this tee, getting herself in position and being able to kind of reset a little bit. Gail mentioned how devastated she was to find out that she was in this position. So a good reset for her, at least put herself in position on this next shot.
Ashley Buhai has been out here a long time on the LPGA Tour. Her rookie year was 2008. A couple of years she didn't play the tour, so it's her 10th year officially. Best finisher 3 years ago, Catherine Kirk won the Thornberry Creek LPGA Classic in Wisconsin. She birdied 18, finished second. She has won 3 times on the LET, a couple of wins in her native South Africa. And we talk about the youth movement on the LPGA Tour, but there hasn't been a winner younger than 26 this year. The veterans are pushing back a little bit. She's 31.
It's a game for all, and it's taken her some time to get in this position, and she's a grinder out there.
I love your thinking.
Has continued to try to work on her game and improve throughout her career.
That's her balls. The stance, I don't think, will be a problem.
It's not a bad angle from there either.
Seem to be sitting okay. At least we could see a lot of it.
Could easily be a jumper lie right there. It's just sitting so nicely, but there's going to be a little grass between club face and ball, and typically those are the ones that knuckle out. Well, the nerves have to be studied to be doing that, Paige.
Yes.
If that ball moves in any way, she will have been deemed to have caused it to move. That is, I didn't see what she was picking out of there when I went over and looked at it, but nonetheless, that'll study the nerves. 153 is the yards to the hole. More important number is 144 to get to the green in line with the flagstick to carry the penalty area.
She certainly had the momentum moving into this. Not only did she birdie 4 of her last 5, she actually had 5 birdies in her last 7 holes. But I don't know if she can get too aggressive with this, can she, Jerry?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
She has to be aiming this right of the hazard line, or the penalty area line from this angle, which would be some 20 feet, 25 feet right of the hole. Well, so much for that theory.
It's a quality shot, wasn't it?
It's a good shot. It's going to leave a fast putt coming back down that hill, but confident swing.
Maybe some adrenaline. She was grinning. I think she knew she struck it well. All right, a chance, Gail, for redemption for Georgia Hall.
Absolutely. 143 in the hole, 133 to carry up onto the green. And again, she's got 8 iron. This is a little further back than when she was in regulation.
So it might be the right number then.
Absolutely, Paige. Looks like a good shot.
Asking for it to go.
There you go.
Well, she knows the line, doesn't she?
It's a very familiar putt. A shorter distance.
Shorter distance. She certainly knows where she stands now. Boyfriend Harry.
That's what I was thinking. I think it like had to just hit it solid, and he did that.
She withstood the pressure coming down the stretch of the AIG Women's Open. She trailed Cornanong Patlam going into that final round, came from behind and won it. That's the scorecard of Ashley Buhai. Paige mentioned 4 birdies in her last 5, 5 in her last 7.
What is it to the back? She seemed very relaxed. I think a little surprised based on how far that shot went. And for Georgia, 2 years ago, I mentioned it, Grant, how well she played. You said it, second, a runner-up finish here. But it had to have felt more like a loss than anything. She
75.
shot 75 that final round. This is her opportunity to have that, not only redemption on the 18th hole of regulation, but a little bit from 2018 as well.
Last playoff here was 2014. Austin Ernst knocked off I.K. Kim. And to that point, Paige and Karen, about not knowing where you stand, it strikes me, when it works, you're a genius, you know, and when it doesn't work, you know, you'll get second guessed. At the end of the day, every player had the opportunity to check their phones to see where they stood.
They did, but it's not always the first response to pull out your phone and have a look. It kind of feels wrong to do it. Like, as a player, you're like, oh, no, I can't.
You would never do it any other year.
No, it just feels weird to have to pull that out to look at that. And,
it kills the momentum. And I think it's something, not a lot of weeks left, but if there was an opportunity to have standard bearers in the last couple of groups, that even you could keep an eye on the group ahead and know what they're at, even if you don't have the big leaderboards, I think it'd be at least a little more normal.
There is absolutely no way to tell. Normally there'd be cheers or applause or something as well. You can get a feel for the atmosphere. There's no way of knowing.
In this case, Buhai was 5 groups from the last so Hall wouldn't have heard any cheers from her particularly, but there would have been a leaderboard. Now, Gail, Buhai will go, Jerry rather, Buhai will go first. What do you think?
Well, it's a very straight looking putt. I don't see much break in it at all. It's a little bit flat, maybe even slightly just uphill through the fringe and then gradually crest down the slope to the hole. It's a very nickel putt, all things considered.
What an effort. Trying to join Leanne Pace and the great Sally Little as LPGA winners from South Africa. Sally, 40 years ago, won the first of her 2 majors. Great player Sally Little was, with 15 LPGA Tour titles. Gail, she had a chance in regulation. She got a chance again.
A similar putt. I don't think she needs to play this outside the hole. Maybe split the ball on the edge. It'll move very slightly to her left.
She was just a touch on the low side in regulation from down below the hole.
To win it. Missed it left in regulation for par, missed it right in playoff. Buhai is going to have a putt after Hall to send us to the first hole. Par 4.
It was a well-played hole, though.
What she would have done to have that in regulation, a par. Anything here, Jerry?
No, I don't think. I mean, seriously, you start this in the center of the hole with any speed at all. I don't think it can miss. The only thing in this is how steady that putter looks in your hands when you look down on it, because nerves are certainly part of the equation at this point.
To send us to a second playoff hole. We're headed to the first. Georgia Hall and Ashley Buhai match each other with pars at 18. They'll head to number 1 next. Okay, the first hole. Second playoff hole for Georgia Hall and Ashley Buhai. And Buhai, after drawing the number 1, will go first, as she did at 18.
And a rare look at this first hole for our viewers, and tremendous opening hole. You can run out of room down on the left side of the fairway, but it takes a big hit. Breeze out of the right. You do want to keep it center to left center, slight dogleg right. That looks very nice. Nice tempo, nice strike, everything about that one, Paige.
Yeah, she looks very comfortable. The tendency, of course, for most people when they get nervous, just speed up a little bit. That transition at the top can get quick.
Second toughest hole on the course, this par 4 first. Georgia Hall next.
And she's got 3-wood in her hand, playing for some position. I always felt like this first hole made you pay attention. This was going just a little left, but should be okay. Good spot.
She's got the opportunity to get back into a groove. At this point, it does become a match play situation. And Grant, you've mentioned her success at Solheim Cup. That's, I guess, part of the reason why I was surprised that she wasn't checking the leaderboard, is because she has had success kind of knowing what she needs to do and doing it.
I mean, as we look at Ashley now, I mean, it's easy, she's obviously she's 31 years of age. She's been out on the tour for 10 years. But she was a player back in South Africa that was thought of in the terms of Lydia Ko was thought of. She was going to be that phenom to come out on tour, to be the next Sally Little, as Grant was pointing out, with her 15 LPGA victories and 2 majors. And it's been a difficult transition. She won a professional event in South Africa as a 15-year-old amateur. And now here she is with 3 wins on the LET, is now trying to get her first win out here. And she's a player that it's taken a while to get to this point. But she's always had that talent and that ability within her.
Speaks to the depth that we see every single week on the LPGA Tour.
Second straight Sunday with a playoff. Miriam Lee outlasted Nelly Korda and Brooke Henderson to win the A&A Inspiration, and now Georgia Hall and Ashley Buhai play extra holes here in Portland.
It's a good first hole as a leadoff as well. It's a position off of the tee. You saw Georgia take less than driver. It really is just about getting it in play. It's an elevated green. Hole location today is tucked to that back left corner, only 3 paces off of the left side of the green. Just kind of each hole out here seems to kind of demand that. Get yourself in play off of the tee and hit a good iron shot into the green. And Georgia Hall has done a tremendous job of that in the back 9. What we saw of her in the short irons that she had into some of those greens, she had a lot of very good distance controls.
3-7 on, yeah?
Yeah.
47 pin?
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, it's down slightly.
Yeah, got a little down at the right.
It was in 2 on 18 then, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a little bit there.
Perfect, just normal weight, yeah?
Yes, correct.
Gail, Georgia Hall first to play.
Yes, and nice of her to do all the work for me.
Yeah, out the right touch.
147 to the hole. And as Paige mentioned, this is tucked. It is barely on the left-hand side of the screen. A very familiar shot. The last 2 shots she hit on 18, very similar to this one. Same distance, same club.
See a lot of it.
That looked like a good shot that just went a long way. Maybe just a little bit of that extra adrenaline.
Almost pitched in from the rough at 16. A really tough spot. Now Buhai with the green open.
Just swing the first one and the Yes, that's perfect. You're going to take just a tad off it, or you're just going to get... Yeah, agreed. All right, come on. You got it.
Much shorter shot here. Pitching wedge or gap wedge will be all it is. Feels like he got a little bit of breeze open, slight uphill lie.
Good.
Okay. An advantage to either one or about the same?
It's about the same. That was a mistake though. Again, knowing.
Okay, so both are over the green on our second playoff hole. A title hanging in the balance. Okay, in the near ground is the ball of Ashley Buhai. And over on the left side of your screen, Georgia Hall walking back to where she will hit her 3rd shot. Hall is first, Gail.
It appears that way. She's a little further away from the hole. And I would prefer to have Georgia's shot over Ashley's. Just me personally, but she's got room to have this run out. Maybe doesn't have to be so precise with the shot. She's a decent line.
Yeah, it looks as though it's maybe trampled in at least her favor, the green kind of growing away. We saw a beautiful little pitch shot from just off of the green on hole 16 in regulation. showed some pretty impressive touch. She's going to need it. Nice.
Not in, but quite good. And for par. So, Jerry, a third shot for Buhai. It doesn't look easy, but for the first time in her LPGA Tour career, she's got a chance to win it.
It's not too bad. The line's not great, but it's not terrible. There's no real grain growing all around it the way that Georgia had. And she's got an uphill lie. So for such a short shot where you have to open it up anyway, that uphill lie lets you generate a little more club head speed. It's a modified flop shot.
Wow.
Two good ones.
There's just such patience in that shot to not rush and to hit at it. There was almost a pause at the top of that pitch shot. It was
probably been watching a lot of Ernie Earls growing up.
It's not a bad timing to fall asleep to. It was, considering the moment, very, very delicate and nice.
So, will they need someone to tell them who's first here? They look close.
It appears so. There's a few rules officials around. Here comes Annie.
And in both these cases, it's that dreaded length that I think most golfers can relate to, where you should make it.
They're just trying to figure out who's first. And the playing with is that a measurement back there? No. One there. Oh, okay. One there. That one back there. Yep, you can.
And whenever there's expectation on a shot, it sometimes becomes difficult to just release and to let it happen. I think for both of these players, it's going to be facing with that. Not only pressure to win a golf tournament, but just be able to let your body knows what it has done over and over again in practice. I mean, how many 5-footers have you made in practice?
On Paige, I would want to be the first one to putt.
That's a good point, Gail.
First in.
So not counting the pressure, how about the putt itself, Gail?
Pretty simple. Let's just keep it in the right-hand side of the hole. Keep your head still and stroke it.
She had putts at 18 in regulation and the playoff to win. Now she's trying to put the pressure back on Ashley Buhai. It's for par. Made it look easy. As Gail said, chance to put the pressure on, and it is on Ashley Buhai. She rose to the pressure on the first playoff hole. They'll go to the second hole if she makes. Sounds like in your head, isn't it, when you're trying to make a big putt? The noise overhead from the airplanes to force a third playoff hole. No. A bogey for Buhai and a long-awaited second victory for Georgia Hall. Better late than never for Georgia, who bogeyed the 18th in regulation, but survives a 2-hole playoff, and she is back in the winner's circle for the first time since the 2018 AIG Women's Open. And the defending champion has some bubbly inside the bubble.
So proud of you. So proud of you.
Countrywoman Bronte Law, Solheim Cup teammate.
Incredible.
What do you mean?
Paige, what'd you see?
Toe didn't release. It was the hardest thing to do is stroke it like you would when it doesn't mean anything.
The closest call in 10 years on the LPGA Tour comes up that short. Down to Jerry Foltz.
George, you look like you're in a little bit of shock right now. Is that the case?
Yeah, I'm just so happy. You know, I was pretty nervous the last kind of 9 holes, and I never looked at the leaderboard once, so I had no idea where I was. I didn't even know I was leading. I must have been leading for like 4 or 5 holes, so I'm pretty glad I didn't look. But yeah, to Boca the last, I was quite upset about that, but I had to kind of refigure myself and get back to trying to win this playoff.
Is not knowing where you stand, is that part of is that what you try to do?
Well, if there's no leaderboards everywhere, then I think it's just better off not to. Normally it's just right in our face, so we can't get away from it. But I know I was playing pretty well, so I just kind of try to stay patient.
How much did it test your patience out there today with the scores being so good for a 3-day event?
Yeah, well, the pins were so tricky today. So I know that scoring wouldn't be as low, and I had a really good run in the middle there, 3 or 4 in a row, so I just had to kind of hold on the last few holes.
All right, congratulations. Well done.
Thank you.
A second victory for Georgia Hall after winning the AIG Women's Open in 2018. Take a look at the current standings in the race to the CNE Globe. She moves from 50th up into the top 10. Danielle Kang remains on top with her 2 victories. Well, she survived. And at the end of the day, that's what it's about, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it was a tremendous day. It was a shame to see, the bogey at the 18th, but the fact that she was able to regroup and come out, she played great in the playoff. Hit some great shots, that little pitch shot up and down on the very first hole / last hole of the playoff. Deserving winner.
The consolation prize for View High, she does get into the U.S. Women's Open. The ShopRite LPGA Classic, after a week off of the LPGA Tour, comes your way Thursday, October the 1st. Special thanks to Adam D'Arienzo, our tech manager, and Wendy Turner, our production manager this week. Got a late start getting onto the course to get ready to broadcast this event. Thanks to everyone who made it happen all week long. For Paige McKenzie, Karen Stupples, Jerry Foltz, Gail Graham, producer Beth Hutter, director Brian Hennessy, I'm Grant Boone. Congratulations to Georgia Hall back in the winner's circle at the Cambia Portland Classic in overtime.
High noon.